The wind outside howled through the pines like a restless ghost. Snow pressed against the cabin windows, frosting the edges where candlelight trembled. Inside, warmth flickered across rough-hewn walls, and the faint smell of pine smoke filled the air. Elias Carter, the quiet cowboy who lived beyond the ridge, sat by the fire, his broad shoulders bowed, his hat resting on the table. He hadn't spoken much since he'd found her, Anna, the widow from the neighboring homestead, standing at his door hours earlier, soaked to the bone and trembling. Her husband had died the winter before. Since then, folks said she barely spoke to anyone. Elias hadn't expected to see her ride out this far, not in a snowstorm. But there she was, eyes red from crying, hands shaking around the reins, asking only, "Can I come in?" He'd lit the fire, given her a blanket, and poured her coffee from the blackened pot that always sat on the stove. Now, as the storm raged outside, she stared into the flames as if they could burn away everything she'd lost. "You should have told someone you were riding out," Elias said quietly. "Could have been dangerous." She didn't answer. Instead, she clutched the blanket tighter, her lips trembling. "I wasn't thinking, I just couldn't stay there another night. That house, it's too quiet. Every board creaks like he's still walking through it." Elias looked into the fire. He knew that kind of silence, the kind that pressed against your ribs until you couldn't breathe. He rose, poured her another cup, and crouched beside her. "You ain't alone out here, Anna. Not anymore." Her eyes lifted to his, wet, searching, almost afraid. "You don't have to say that," she whispered. "People disappear in grief. You shouldn't get caught in mine." "I already am," he said softly. The words broke something in her. Tears welled again, spilling down her cheeks as she shook her head. "Elias, don't stop being kind to me. Please, I need this. Just someone here." The quiet's too heavy to carry alone. He hesitated only a moment before reaching for her hand. It was cold, trembling, but when his rough palm closed around it, she breathed as though she'd been underwater too long. No words followed, just the steady rhythm of the fire and the wind's soft wailing outside. He pulled another blanket around her shoulders, then sat beside her on the floor, their backs to the hearth. The heat warmed their faces. The silence between them turned from hollow to healing. She leaned her head against him, the weight of loss slowly giving way to something fragile and new. Heartbeat steady and human. For the first time in months, Anna didn't feel like a widow. She felt like a woman who still had something left to live for. Elias looked down at her sleeping face, illuminated by the flicker of firelight. Outside, the storm began to quiet. The world beyond the cabin would still be hard, but in that small golden space, the night belonged to two souls who had finally stopped running from